Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise or longer just about every week. And today I wanted to talk about the automatic gratuities with Royal Caribbean and really other cruise lines. The numbers might be a little bit different, but wanted to talk to you about automatic gratuities. Now, this is one that can be an interesting video for me, and I've gone back and forth on how to make this video. I might be a little bit biased in this video. I'm coming to learn as I look through how I've got this scripted, because I'm going to be talking about how us as guests and passengers are financially compensating a lot of my friends. The crew members that work on the ship are my friends, and so I definitely feel a little bit biased in making this video, but I wanted to give you strong educational content so that you understand what are automatic gratuities, how they are being paid out, and how much are they really getting at the end of the day. Now, look, I'll be the first one to admit that I am not a fan of a tipping system. I do not like the concept whatsoever, because I think us as guests or just as humans aren't the best people to really decide how much somebody should be compensated. I don't know what effort they went through. I don't know what kind of work they are doing. I know none of that information, and so I don't feel that it's right as me as a guest to have to determine how much they're going to make, but alas, here we are. That is the system that we have. So today, I want to specifically break down, number one, why do we have a tipping system in the first place? I know that there are a lot of countries that do not do this. I think every country except the United States does not do this. And so I wanted to kind of talk through my thoughts on why we have a tipping system in the first place. And then we'll go into how that actually works for tipping on the ship. So how are those automatic gratuities that you're going to be assessed going to be applied? So let's jump on into it. So why do we tip? The first reason why most people tip is because you think that you're going to receive better service. So this is definitely true for those people that tip at the beginning of the cruise. So if you're somebody that comes on board and you're giving a $10 bill or larger to a bartender as soon as you get onto the cruise ship, you're going to expect, or you're going to want, better treatment throughout the duration of that cruise to cut the line and to be able to get drinks quicker from this particular bartender. So I am the exact opposite of this strategy. I am somebody that just watches who's really working hard, who's going above and beyond to make my cruise a memorable cruise, and I will tip at the end of the sailing. So it is, my personal mission on the last night of the sailing to walk around the ship and find every person that has really impacted my cruise and make sure that I am financially thanking them for everything that they did for me. This is also a tipping strategy, is also a great way to reward or say thank you to the crew. Now, they probably do not hear this enough, and they certainly are here to work for money. This is the best way to thank them. You certainly want to make sure you're filling out your surveys, listing them by name if they did really good service, but they also really, really appreciate monetary or financial support to say thank you as well. And to be honest, one reason that we also have these automatic gratuities is because it helps ensure that the crew does get a better salary. I don't know what the crew makes. I've never seen their pay slips, but I've always heard that it is consistently low. And I know that their room, board, all that is taken care of, but I've always heard that they make a really low amount of money. And this is a way that I think the cruise lines are utilizing us as guests to pay for their employees, which if that's how they structure it, we're calling a spade on this one. If they rolled that into the cruise fare, the dollar amount probably would be the same. So the way that they say it, or the guise of saying that, hey, this is your automatic gratuities, doesn't really bother me that bad. I wish that they would move it into the cruise fare. I think that is the right place for it to be, not listed in this gratuity or tip section, but that's the way that it is today. Now, kudos to Celebrity Cruise Line and Virgin Voyages and other high-end luxury brands who have automatically rolled in cruise gratuities into their cruise fare, especially for taking the leap. I know this is new for Celebrity as well as for Virgin. I think it is an excellent idea, and I really hope that other cruise lines follow suit. So how much are automatic gratuities? Now, for every cruise line, this is going to vary based on the stateroom category that you're in. With Royal Caribbean, there are 2 tiers. The first one is for anything junior suite or lower. So if you're in a junior suite, ocean view balcony, ocean view, or interior room, you're going to find yourself paying $14.50 per day. Of that, you're going to have $3.55 is going to go to your stateroom attendant. you're going to have $5 that's going to go to hotel services, and then you're going to have the remaining $5.95 going to dining services. So if you were in a suite or higher, this is going to be a grand suite, owner suite, or maybe you're even in the royal suite, you're going to find yourself paying $17.50 per day. Now, you're going to be in a larger stateroom, so the place that you're going to see this increase is to your stateroom attendant. So your stateroom attendant is going to get $6.20. Your hotel services are going to get $5.35. And then dining service is going to remain at the $5.95 per day of that total amount of $17.50. Now, this is per day per person. So if you have 2 people staying in here, you will be paying this for each person. If you have 4 people in the room, you are paying that for all 4 people. There is not a discount the more people that you get in the room. Now, Norwegian Cruise Line has already let us know that they are raising their automatic gratuities, and in similar situations, I would not be surprised if Royal Caribbean did not follow suit and increase these numbers as well. So Norwegian is going to a $16, $18, and $20 for their exclusive haven that you can expect to pay if you are on Norwegian Cruise Line. So be on the lookout. I don't know that it's happening, but we've seen this trend in the past where one cruise line is announced and the next follows. Now, how do you pay these automatic gratuities? One way, and I think the way that most people do this, is through prepaid gratuities. So you are doing it before you even come on the ship. You're just saying, you know what? I want this to be taken care of. I want to know that when I board the cruise ship, everything is paid for. My cruise fare is paid for. My gratuities are paid for. I've made it as much of an all-inclusive experience as I can so that the only charges you're going to see are if you go to one of the shops or buy something in one of the stores. Everything else is going to be included for you from a cruise fare and gratuity perspective. The other way that you may choose to pay this is when you come on the cruise. So it's going to be assessed on a daily basis to your portfolio or your account on Royal Caribbean. Now, it might not all be day for day. I've seen in some cases where nothing posts on day 1 and then I get 2 of them on day 2, but the math is still going to come out. It's going to be, that fixed amount per person you're going to see flow through on your portfolio or your account. Now, here's the sensitive part, or the sensitive content warning. Is the automatic gratuity enough? So I know a lot of people love knowing that it's paid for. They love knowing that it's done. But is that enough of a tip to come on the cruise ship or to give to the crew? So let's break that down, and I'll give you my personal opinion on what I think this answer is. So let's take dining services, for instance. So as you can see that, it doesn't really give us a strong breakdown on who is getting what. So there are these big ticket items or categories such as hotel services, dining services, and your stateroom attendant. Stateroom attendant you can kind of figure out, but the rest of it, you don't really know how much they're getting. So of the $5.95 per day that your dining services are going to get, I personally would think that, that's going towards my waiter and my assistant waiter, the people that are really taking care of me and the people that I am interacting with. But it is actually much larger than that. So they are going to be splitting that with the maitre d', they're going to be splitting that with the head waiter, and maybe even some other people that I don't even know who they are. So of that $5.95 per day, it's my estimation that they're probably going to be getting, maybe $1 per day from me when I'm sitting at their table. Now, I don't know the math on how they break all that out, if everybody's getting equal shares or if there's a percentage. I imagine there's probably a percentage, but from what I can tell, they're getting probably $1 per day is what they're getting. Now, if I'm seeing them for lunch, if they're working in the Windjammer, or if I'm seeing them at the table, $1 per day is not much to say thank you. If we're gonna be tipping and we're gonna say that, hey, this is a tipping system, let's buy into it, $1 per day is not enough. So if we're gonna tip, I personally like to tip. In the American system, or here in the States, if you went out to dinner and you paid 20% or 15 to 20% on top of a meal, you would easily be paying more than $2 for this meal. So I personally like to give above and beyond the automatic gratuities, because to me, automatic gratuities are not enough. It is a great way that I can thank many people, some that I don't even interact with, But at the end of the day, those that I am interacting with, that I see on a consistent basis and are really going above and beyond, it is not even close to being enough of a tip for what I like to provide to these folks. So there are many reasons why people don't like automatic gratuities or tipping on a cruise ship. I think the main one is we just feel like people should be paying their employees, that the cruise line should take on this responsibility and that it should not be on the passenger or the guest to have a compensation discussion with the crew member. And I am not disagreeing with that at all, but I feel like, if you don't like the system, please don't take it out on the individual crew member and the tips that you are giving them. They are just a spoke in the wheel. They are working as hard as they can to help out, but they're not responsible for the tipping culture that is there. What I would encourage you to do, though, is write to Royal Caribbean, write to other cruise lines, and help change the industry so that those gratuities could be included, that it's automatically built into the cruise fare, and us as passengers, we just get to show up and enjoy our cruise. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, hoping to see you on a weekend cruise or longer sailing and tipping and showing your appreciation for the crew.